Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a $30 budget Mechanized Madness structure deck for you guys. So this is basically where you take 3 of the Machina Madness structure decks and you open them all up and you see what you can make with 3 of them. And this is the kind of build that I wanted to show you guys because it's a really budget build that works pretty good, and I really like the way that this came out. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next to become part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description because we have some really cool rewards for you guys, like getting a signed card, getting your name in the description of every single video, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month that you are a patron. So let's get straight on into this, guys. So we have some really cool tech cards in here for you guys from the structure deck. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Machina Citadel. So this card's pretty easy to summon with a lot of the different monsters, but it's basically your big boss monster of the deck. And it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned by a card effect. And you can quick effect, target a machine monster you control, destroy a machine monster, and all monsters your opponent controls will attack less than or equal to that monster that was destroyed. And if a face-up Earth machine monster you control, except another copy of Machine Citadel, is destroyed by battle or by card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can just instantly special summon this to your side of the field. Which is a really cool effect because if you can get multiples of these in the graveyard, you can just keep bringing them back over and over again, which is why I play this card at 3 in this particular build. Then we play 3 copies of Machina Fortress. Machina Fortress is your ideal target to pop with your copy of Machina Citadel because it has the effect of that you can discard machine monsters who total level equal 8 or more, and then special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. And if this card is destroyed by a battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and destroy that target. And before resolving an opponent's monster effect that targets this face-up card, you get to look at your opponent's hand and discard a card from their hand, which is really cool. I really like that effect of being able to just discard a random card if they target this card at all, which is a really, really cool effect. Then I play 3 copies of Machina Air Raid. Air Raid is a really interesting card. That's one of the new cards that was released in the structure deck that you can discard one other Machina monster and then special summon this card from your hand. And then during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 Machina monster or 1 monster you control and then special summon from your deck a Machina monster with a different name other than that monster, and then equal to or lower than that card's level. So the majority of your monsters are level 8. So what you're going to be doing usually is special summoning your copy of Machina Fortress, is why you play it at 3. And if you do, you destroy the original monster, which is still pretty cool. Then I play 3 copies of 3 copies of Machina Aerator, which is a really good card. This card's an interesting card because it kind of has the same effect of Air Raid. Because basically what you do is that you discard a card, one of their Machina monster, to special summon this card from your hand, and then you get to target a machine monster you control, special summon from your graveyard, 1 Machina monster with a different name, but equal to or lower than levels, and then that monster that you're going to be destroying. Basically, this one special summons from deck, and this one special summons from graveyard, but I play them both at 3 because they're both really good discard fodder as well. Then for the last kind of like big boss monster that we play, I play 1 copy of Machina Megaform. Megaform is good. I just feel like you need it at 1 though, because once you get it in the graveyard, you're just going to constantly be bringing it back. You can tribute it to special summon a Machina monster from your hand or deck, except another copy of Megaform. And if a face-up Machina Fortress you control is sent to the graveyard while this card's in your graveyard, then you can banish that Machina Fortress from your grave and then special summon this card. So I just played at 1 because of that, because it's extremely easy to get out. Then I play 3 copies of Machina Gearframe. Gearframe is kind of like the searcher of the deck. When you normal summon it, you get to add a Machina monster from your deck to your hand. And then you can equip this card as a union monster to another card, and it basically makes it so that monster can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. You destroy this card instead. Then I play 3 copies of Machina Possess Storage. This card is really interesting. It's one of the newer cards that was released in this, with all these cards in the structure deck. But if it's normal or special summon, you get to target a Machina monster in your graveyard, except Machina Possess Storage, and special summon it in defense position, but it can't activate its effects this turn. You can target a Machina monster you control and a spell or trap card in your opponent controls and return them both to the hand, which is pretty cool. I like that effect. The really neat thing about this is that when it's normal or special summon, or when it's normal or special summon, you can target a Machina in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position, but its effects are negated, which is not that big of a deal, because you're just going to usually be using it to use it next turn. Like if I summon Citadel from the graveyard, it just really helps out. And then with the last 3 monsters, we're playing 3 copies of Scrap Recycler. The 3 Scrap Recyclers really help out because it says that when this card is normal or special summon, you can send a machine monster from your deck to the graveyard. So basically what you normally send to the graveyard is Megaform to get it out of your deck, or a Citadel if you know you can bring it back with like Possess Storage the following turn, which is really the reason that you play this card at 3 in the deck. And it's a really good card too because you can shuffle 2 of your Earth Machine monsters back in your deck and then you get to draw a card, which is really, really nice. Something I will note to you guys is pay attention to the destruction effects of these cards, because destroying them is not that big of a deal because you're going to be able to resolve other cards in the deck to be able to get more value off of destroying them. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, I am playing just a single copy of Machina Defense Perimeter. Machina Defense Perimeter is searchable in the deck, so that's why I played at 1. But when you control level 7 or higher machine monster, your opponent cannot target level 6 or lower machine monsters you control for attacks, and also your opponent cannot target them with card effects. And if a face-up machine monsters you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can target one machine monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So it kind of helps you just resolve getting multiple machine monsters back in your hand. 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. This card is really good in this deck, and it's really good in just about any deck nowadays because of the Eldritch matchup. It just really, really helps out to be able to go up against that. I thought about playing this card at 3 in this deck, but I feel like 2 is just plenty. 2 copies of Limiter Removal. Limiter Removal just helps us with OTKs in this deck, and this deck can OTK pretty easily. A lot of your monsters that are Machinas don't get really, really big, but with a copy of like Fortress and Citadel, they go up to 6,000 and 5,000 with this card, which is still pretty good. The rest of them don't get too huge, but this card can pretty much just help you OTK with Citadel and Fortress on their own, because those are the big ones that you're going to be swinging with anyways. 3 copies of Machina Redeployment. Redeployment is really good in this deck because you get to discard a card to add 2 Machina monsters with different names to your from your deck to your hand. Or if you discard a Machina monster to activate this effect, then you get to add 2 Machina cards instead of just monsters, which is really, really beneficial for you guys as well. And I really like that effect. This is a newer card that they released in this set, which is a really good card, actually. And then we play 3 copies of Supply Squad as well, which was in the structure deck. The Supply Squads really help out in here because, like Air Raid and Irradiator, both of these trigger by destroying something. So the Supply Squad lets you just draw, and it gives you so much value. If you draw like 2 of these, you're just going to be drawing like 2 cards every single turn. If you can get 3 of them on the field, you're just going to be drawing 3 every single turn that you're activating this. So it gets you a lot of value and a lot of card advantage against your opponent, which is really important. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. The traps are really, really good in here. I really like the traps that I've got for this deck. So basically what you're playing is you're playing 3 of the Machina Overdrive. Machina Overdrive is actually insane. This card's really good. When I playtest this $30 budget version, I used this card like every single game that I was playing. But basically what it does is it lets you target a machine monster you control, and then you special summon a machine monster with a different name from your hand or deck. And if you do, you destroy the targeted monster on the field. So basically it lets you tag out one of your Machinas that's on the field by destroying it, and then it lets you special summon any other Machina you want from your deck, which is going to be usually Citadel, that you're going to be just instantly turboing out your Citadel onto your side of the field to be able to get its effects off, to be able to destroy stuff, and then destroy your opponent's field, and then be able to get you a lot of value. So basically this card is a 3 of in the deck. I don't know if I played in 3 in the competitive version. I probably played at least 2, but it also has a really cool pot of adverse effects. I didn't really resolve that much when I was playtesting this deck, just a little bit. But basically what it does is you target 3 of your banished and or in your graveyard machine monsters, shuffle them into the deck, and then you get to draw a card, which is a good effect, but at the same time you don't really resolve it that much because you're getting them in the graveyard to keep them in the graveyard so you can bring them back with like your Irradiator and stuff like that, and you want to keep Citadel, at least 1 Citadel in the graveyard. And then we're playing 2 copies of Back to the Front. Back to the Front really helps out in this deck because basically what you're doing with this is you're reviving cards like your Post Storage, Possess Storage. Possess Storage really helps out to revive off this card because it triggers when it's summoned and then revives something else. Citadel can come back really easily with this card, and your Machina Fortress really helps out to bring that one back as well because it's going to trigger different effects. If it gets destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroys it. So it's still pretty good even though it has kind of low defense. It's not that big of a deal because Machina Fortress sits at a whopping 1,600 defense, which just about anything in the game nowadays can just walk over. But the really nice thing is they like Boral Sword you. and you have a copy of your fortress in the graveyard, and you use back to the front and put fortress in defense position, when they swing into the fortress and it gets destroyed, Boral Sword doesn't protect itself from card effects. It just protects itself against battle. So you can just pop the Boral Sword or something. Then we play 2 copies of Solemn Strike. The Solemn Strikes really help out in here because basically they just stop your opponent from summoning stuff, which is just really, really, really nice. So unfortunately, they didn't give us any extra deck cards. They just gave us main deck cards, so we don't have an extra deck for the budget version. I will probably try and do a train version in the future of this deck, but it's still a pretty good deck on its own. Machina straight is not bad. Just pure like this, it's not really bad. I think I'm going to kind of move away from my Shedall version of my trains and go for a Machina build, because I think it would be really interesting with Citadel. Citadel's a really good card in here, and I really like what it does, being able to just pop something, and then when it's sent to the graveyard, then you get to destroy cards on the field, which can open you up for a lot of OTKs, which is what I'm really feeling like is going to be the way to play the trains nowadays, is with Citadel and urgent schedules. So that's it for the deck, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. It's a really neat deck to play around with, and it's super cheap, just being able to get 3 copies of this deck. I think I paid $28 for 3 of them on eBay after tax and everything, and got the cards in within like 3 days of me buying them with fast shipping. So you can definitely get them that way. TCG Player has them and Amazon has them. Everybody's having these cards that you guys can order online, so you don't have to go out and get them in the mail. That's how I got mine. That's how I recommend that you get yours. But definitely tell me what you think of this deck down below. It's a really fun deck to play around with that just turbos out a bunch of big machine monsters, which, I mean, who doesn't love that? It's one of the most popular archetypes, or one of the most popular typing in the entire game is machines, dragons, and spellcasters. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad. Tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below. And tell me how your $30 budget build goes. Let me know how you play it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.